There's a cave in France. It's somewhere between 120, 160 feet below sea level. And there's water, but there's chambers where there isn't water. And there's art in there, drawn on the walls long, long time ago. The Statue of Liberty has stood for what? Over 100 years? Remember Barack Obama, Al Gore? Now it's today's Democrats. They have been screaming. They're the little boys that cried wolf about spherical heating. Picture globe. Okay. Have to use that phrase because the censorship Nazis of Google. By the way, none of these social media oligarchs are scientists. Please make a mental note of that. And they're going to tell you that your facts need to be checked. Notice what I said. Your facts need to be checked, not their lies. They censor people. They shut down videos. They shut down posts on Facebook if anybody talks about spherical heating from a truthful standpoint. But the Statue of Liberty, I would like to ask everybody who believes in that, tell me why there's no raised watermark at the foundation of it. You know, we were told the lie that the ice caps dissolve into the sea, spherical heating will be a reality. But pay attention to where Barack Obama and his wife bought their massive mansion. Not in Compton, not in Motown, not in Atlanta. No, on the contrary. Michelle said that whites are privileged. Where did she and her husband move? To Whiteville, Martha's Vineyard. But wasn't Obama who was concerned about spherical heating? He must not be that concerned. See, the facts show, and you see people are claiming that the sea level is adjusting itself to significantly higher proportions. Yet there's the old Statue of Liberty standing out there. For some reason, the H2O levels have not increased on the flank of her foundation. There's icebergs calving off of Antarctica that are as big as small states. Do we really believe there's enough water in there to cause the sea level on a global level to rise? The Democrats believe that. Anything they can do to further their agenda, well, they're going to do it. I didn't watch the debate. I saw the aftermath because I had to go to bed and get up to go to work early. But Biden did horribly, even after getting the upper hand advantage of a prep at Camp David for 7 days and being told, here's the questions, what you're going to say. I think that's bold. I think presidents should stand or fall on their own. No advance warning of the questions. You stand out there and speak. And I'm going to say something. Any country where the leader has to read a teleprompter is a sorry leader. Pacific can stand here and talk with no notes and talk for hours. If you cannot run a country, the only thing I'd have a handful of notes, and I would need a teleprompter, is about facts and statistics. But I could give a speech dealing with the issue straight from the heart. And a lot of people can't do that. But Biden reading a teleprompter is no different than a laugh track on Gilligan's Island or Brady Bunch. You have to be cued when to laugh. Remember that? I have to throw that out there. Sherwood Schwartz, he created Gilligan's Island and Brady Bunch, and somewhere in that canned laughter is this laughter goes. I've always said America's plastic. I've always said that white women have more plastic than in a Chinese toy factory. That's a fact. You can hear it in their speech tones. You can hear it in the way they talk to you. That fake, contrived, you can just tell it. This isn't genuine. Thank you. Have a nice day. That sounded sincere, not? Yeah. But Biden, after all that prepping and having an inside advantage, well, he blew it. One eye half mast, staring off into space, and sounding like the Tin Man. Then the White House said, oh, he had a cold. Folks, Pacific has had a cold, but it doesn't interfere with what's going on the bridge. I may not feel good. I may feel like absolute crapola, but everything on the navigation bridge still works. Biden has dementia. Biden is losing it. And I am in no way mocking that. What I am mocking is that the Democrats want to put this pathetic trophy to humanity as the leader of the free nation. And now they're all trying to say, we got to get him out of there. We got to get him out of there. What a bunch of bloody fools. The Democrats are fools. They knew exactly what they're doing. Now they're turning on him. And that's something that the conservatives need to camp on. Their house divided. They're talking about putting Newsom in there, Whitmer, or Michelle. Good choices. Newsom, who has banned the sale of automobiles that run on gas in 2035, as well as leaf blowers and lawnmowers. I hope that hits the Supreme Court and they tell them, no, you can't do that. It is not the job of the government to tell citizens what they can drive and buy. It is not their damn business. And I bring that up because in lieu of what I talked about the water level and the Statue of Liberty has not changed. But these clowns sound the alarm over and over and over. We're having a hot summer down here in Georgia. Real hot. But I don't believe that that's a result of spherical heating. This is the facts, folks. 1880 to now, the temperature rose 1.5 degrees. 1880 to now. What has changed since 1880 to today? The internal combustion engine, air conditioning units on pads, fans, refrigerators, machinery. All forms of machinery, whether electric or gas, throw heat. There's enough cars and vehicles and ships and airplanes in the world to easily shift the temperature by 1.5 degrees. We have cities which are concrete and glass. The heat in a city is greater than that which is outside the city and the country. You put all this traffic down there, diesel engines running at about 220 degrees. I would say that could significantly affect. Plus, you have factories. Plus, you have more humans running around at, what is it, 96.8, 98.6? I'll get it straight. Temperature. And no, nobody takes that into consideration. They listen to liberal tribe, the spoon-fed porridge, and they indoctrinate children. But I live in the deep, dirty South, and I find it interesting that the Democrats are the ones that are going to preserve the environment, but I really want you to pay significant close attention to the black voters. They have no problem throwing garbage out their windows, tires, furniture, mattresses, not too far from my house. Section of woods and swamp, and they got to throw all that crap. At one point, they threw a Davenport into the swamp. It is still there. It's been there 4 years now. It was white. Now it's black, covered in mold. I thought, man, it'd be funny to put two mannequins sitting on there and throw a coffee table out there with a shell of a TV cabinet. People could drive by and go, look at that. The swampster is sitting there watching TV. And they not only threw it in there, they had to walk from the truck, from the roadway, and pull it up in where they set it. Democrats are good at saving the planet, right? They had control of Michigan and the auto unions for how long? Do you know anything about Flint and the water? Know anything about acid rain? Yeah, so you don't hear about that. Democrats are real hush hush about that because they're the ones that caused all that. Unions, Democrats, they shift well together. You can sink or shift that without even pushing the clutch. And it's funny that the Democrats want to be the supposed only people that are the stewards of the care of this planet. Let's talk about union people complaining that their income isn't enough. Northern Minnesota, the Iron Range, the Iron Strange. I was telling my roommate a true story about what I experienced with the neighbors in Virginia, Minnesota. And one day I'm going to put it on blast on YouTube. She said, I cannot believe that you guys went through that. People who vote Democrat do crazy things. People who vote Democrat are crazy. I see in my workplace that as a white conservative voting Republican ticket, that my work ethic is harder than all those that claim to be Democrat and are black. My physique is better than most of the females down here that are half my age. Is there a difference being a conservative? Absolutely. Are there awful conservatives? Yeah. But never a good Democrat have I met. The thinking is screwy. And you had people after the debates, the most laughable event in the history of debate in the United States of America, saying that Biden did really well. Rachel Maddow, who's a poster child for the fugly contest, and looks like she's probably into butch girls with her spiky short hair. She is not a journalist, folks. She is not a journalist. She's a white woman. She got the job. And I'm going to tell you something. If you want to talk about EOE, equal opportunity employer, fire a shot across the Democrat Party's bow and ask why all the liberal networks will not hire white male conservatives at all. Well, it doesn't fit. It doesn't matter. It's discrimination. I was thinking about something yesterday too regarding this pronoun BS, and I'm going to call it that. I'm going to say it. The transgender movement is nothing but a manifestation of mental damage. I don't want to say mental illness, but some mental discrepancy. I'm running into this more and more. You go into a business, if you call them ma'am when they're a sir, or call them sir when they're a ma'am, or want to be a ma'am, they will get up in your face about it. Did you know that the Constitution protects people of faith? That we do not have to legally consent to something that is a violation of our religious or spiritual convictions. And if somebody pushes this to the next level, it'd be interesting to see how the Supreme Court weighs in on this. But I could say my convictions tell me I'm not going to call somebody a woman who was born a man. So it's going to be hard for me to address that sir as a ma'am. I've already had that happen to me once. And the ma'am that was a sir is getting people in trouble. And it's not right. The transgender have more rights than everybody else. They demand that we recognize them. I'll recognize you as a human, but and people say, well, just don't say sir, ma'am. It's hard not to do that. And I wouldn't do it to be spiteful. But if you're a grown man, I can't sit there and look at you and say, yes, ma'am. I had just this thing happen to me in my place of employment. I was working with somebody who's trans male, wanting to be a female. In my opinion, he's not a handsome man and not a pretty girl. Much older, late in life. How do you go? And he's in a man's job. He's in a man's macho job. Wants to wear bras and panties and girls' clothing and carry purses and wants to talk like this. And I accidentally, no, I didn't accidentally, but I didn't on purpose. I naturally said, okay, sir. Boy, did I incur the wrath of Khan. Not only did she go to my supervisor, I said, I'm sorry. I did not do that to spite. It's natural. When I started working here, I knew you as sir. Oh no, I started transiting. I said, it doesn't matter. I had no idea you were doing all that. And I want to say you cannot expect everybody to bow to your wishes. Since when did the trans be God and we must bow and grovel before them and their silly demands? Biden did that. Biden, you know, saying, hinting that it's child abuse if you don't let your child transgender. Well, fine. When you're 18, you can do whatever you want on your dime. I'm not paying for this foolishness. Why would a president that old, what is he, 78? Why would a president push that kind of stuff? Did he not grow up in a normal matrimonial society? The Democratic Party will do anything to pimp votes. They're friends with the LGBT. They're friends with all the criminals. They're friends with all the union spoiled brat boys. They're friends with the teachers union. And I support education, but education has been hijacked by lefty crybaby dominated by feminist women. When I drove the bus at Denver schools, and I had another gentleman older than me, he is now retired. I no longer work driving school bus for a living. And I left Denver years ago. And he came to me, he said, what is with these women when we go to pick up? We drove a program up in the mountains, three of us drivers, 3 to 4 of us were mountain certified to take a program up that did outdoor environment skills and stayed at a camp that was owned by Denver Public Schools, donated to them by Aussies that had a gold mine stake way back, 750 acres north of Boulder, Colorado. And this gentleman who had taught me and certified me to be mountain trained said, these young women are just rude at the schools. I said, Caucasian, right? Yeah. I said, you know what it is? They're feminists. They hate men. I said, that's what they learn as part of their damn education. I had a friend, she lived in Barbados, a black woman, and she took women's studies in the university in Barbados, and she enlightened me that women's studies teaches women you don't need men. It basically is a class designed to beat up on men. And even she said it taught them that you don't need a man to stimulate you, another woman can do it. Lesbian is exploding across the American landscape, and India, and the Philippines, and Indonesia, and in Muslim countries, because women suddenly realize something. And I'm just going to be honest. If I was a woman, I don't think I'd want a man either. Hairy, sweaty, stinky, gross. They come in from a hard day at work and they're stubble and they want to go nookie nookie and not clean up. And the woman's going, and they ride the woman like a horse, get their rocks off and roll over and go to bed. And the woman's going, I really don't like sex. Whereas women will lick and touch and feel, and they know how to hit the G spot of women. It's wrong in God's eyes. It's sin in God's eyes. And I have suffered all kinds of harassment, bullying, cyberbullying because of me saying that. And I told these people, go scream and rail at God. That's what the Bible says. And I believe that book. And we live in a society that is harassing, bullying, and punking on anybody that doesn't agree with their twisted BS. Christians are shamed, called bigots, homophobes. I've been very transparent on my channel. I've struggled with same-sex desires. I don't want a man, but let me tell you about the derangement that comes that a guy like me in the US cannot get a good-looking woman for a date. I can, but it's very, very tough. I'd have a better chance overseas. I lived over there and I dated a variety of pretty Filipina, one Chinese woman, and you come back here and the only women that come after us are those that are in debt, smoke, got dogs, obese, don't shave under their underarms. And you're going, no. Women have cockblocked men. Women have become, we know this, narcissists, immature, materialistic. They're addicted to Starbucks. They're addicted to Netflix, addicted to dogs and animals and SUVs. They have no substance. They have no depth. 99% of them. And when you meet good women, they are married and taken. When you meet good women, they are accounted for. At my age, near 60, there are not good women my age out there available. Notice how I couched that. Not good women. They have divorced or have been divorced, like myself. They got all kinds of habits. They got all kinds of attitudes. And then they want to get back into the date gene pool, and it is a trip. It's a game that people play. And men have a sex drive. It's always there. And I said, of a fact, in the United States, if I was an attractive female, I'd have an easier chance of getting a girlfriend. In fact, I'd have a guaranteed, not a chance, I'd have a guaranteed spot with a good looking woman as a lesbian, way more than I would as a available, attractive for my age man, working on his house, works his job, responsible. Women don't want that. If I was to go back when my house was built back in the 50s, if I'd have moved in this neighborhood with my looks now, the long hair would have been criticized, but there would have been women that would have thought, oh my gosh, that guy works. He bought that cute house down there. It was probably cute in the day. I'm sure it was. Now it's becoming cute with all the work I put in. I'd have girls a go-go, suitors available. Today, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Women are not normal today. They wanted their rights. They wanted equality. I was marveling at my job. We got women in the offices. A lot of them don't do anything but show off their gacky outfits, what they think is sexy. And I'm just going, your outfits are not pretty. You're not pretty. When your arms are bigger around than my thighs and your armpit's big enough for me to put my whole head in there, and you spend $300 for a hair job and your nails, and you all sit in there, oh, I like your nails. Oh, this is so gay. Like putting lipstick on a piggy. And people say, man, you're harsh. I was trained well by the women in America. They've been harsh and judgmental on this. They have judged me for everything. Everything. I'm not being harsh. I'm being accurate. Even fat poochy women now can get dates. And in African American culture, a lot of black men do not have taste. They will jump on anything that has a vagina. It's very sad. This is the world we live in. Joe Biden was a fail, and we got people saying he was good. Did y'all notice Ding Dong Jean Pierre? I mean, that woman looks like, if you turn her upside down, she looks like a toilet scrubbing brush. And we already know what she's about. I'm black and I'm lesbian. Oh, good. Thanks. That restores confidence in American people. Russia, China, and now Kim Jong-un Kim Jong-un's talking about sending troops to Ukraine. We never should have been involved in Ukraine. That's nothing but a racket. And the U.S. has got itself in a hell of a quagmire, and Russia's threatening us, and Russia's getting a lot of damage done. And there's going to come a point where Putin's going to get pissed off and he's going to do something. And Biden, after he had the most fail speech of all time, just 2 days later, was shit talking Putin. I'm going, young man, you might want to be careful what you're doing because you're already in the shitter with him. And they all saw your speech, and world leaders are scoffing. It's like the geek in the back of the classroom that nobody likes. And the football team would love to give him a swirly and flush him in the toilet. And he's going to sit on the other side of a wall and make comments about the football team. And the football team's over there, the minute that little punk walks into our locker room, we're going to get him. Biden's putting a noose around his own neck. The Democrats are going to force him out. And what did I say to people a year ago? I said, watch what the Democrats will do. They're going to find a way to screw up this election. It's not going to be Trump running against Biden. That's not going to happen. This is my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I'm not God. I don't know the future. They're going to bring some Trojan horse in there. Gavin Newsom's a joke. He gets the presidency. We're done. If Schittmer in Michigan gets the presidency, we're done. If Michelle Obama, who has no political experience whatsoever, her biggest claim to fame was changing the school lunch content. And I agree. I agree with her. Kids eat too much junk food, and I don't think that that's right. But Michelle, talking about entitlement while she moved right to a white neighborhood and has a mansion, how does she not think she's not entitled? She didn't move to where the blacks are. She has nothing to do with her own skin color community. In fact, none of these rich blacks do. They leave it behind and they move into white enclaves. That needs to be put on blast on CNN and all the liberal news networks, but they won't talk about that. Some black barbershop down in Atlanta's whining because he lost business with the Trump rally down there, and he's very upset. And I got on the comments on the news page there, and I said, you're all upset because you lost some customers when there was a rally. I said, but did you have any anger for all the other ethnicities that lost their businesses that were burned to the ground and looted and pilfered during the riots by your people? I didn't think so. I don't think I heard anything from the black community about the sorry ass behavior that they exhibited in 2020 over a thug called Floyd. And this is the problem. The black community is a very fragile community. I finally realized that. They can yell the N-word all day long, but a white guy says it, they're going to burn the city down. And I say, if you don't like the N-word, stop using it, model it, model it, or shut up. And the logic of white people and Asian people trumps the logic of leftist blacks. I mean, they just spin on foolish thinking, sheeple thinking, brainwashed circle of racism that goes round and round like a carousel with the horses going up and down. Everything that they look at is based on a racial pair of glasses. Everything. Where I work, we've got laziness, summa cum laude by the black people. We got blacks that steal, lie, cheat, fuck around, don't do their job. They still have a job. They don't get reprimanded. They don't get fired. They don't get suspended. Who has got privilege in this country? Democrats, blacks, all these people on Capitol Hill. Biden should not be at the helm starting right now. The Democrats don't want Kamala. She cannot form an intelligible sentence. Gutfeld was ripping on her for saying the same silly phrase over and over and over again. They've called her the word salad queen. Michelle Obama doesn't have the testicles to stand up to Putin or Kim Jong-un. What's she going to do? Sick the hood on them? These people have no business in politics. They have no business running a daycare center, let alone the country. And Democrats should not be in charge of our children. They have fucked up the public education system by insisting that evolution is a fact when indeed it was a theory. You're not allowed to talk about creation in a science classroom because they claim religion. Well, let me tell you something about religion. Congress shall make no laws concerning it. This USA and your employer, they cannot make you use pronouns. When somebody's born a man and you say sir, you should not get impinged for that. Say, I'm a Christian and I'm not going to play that game. You notice? The Democrats always bring in the people that want to turn every rule, every law, every decent, sane thing written in eternity upside down. When are we going to push back, folks? When are we say, you can't do this? The Supreme Court just rebuked clown Biden the other day about January 6th. Biden was rebuked several times by the Supreme Court. Hobby Lobby said, I, as a Christian man, do not feel comfortable giving an abortion pill to my employees based on my faith. And the Supreme Court upheld him. And I support that. Since when does Obama and Biden have the right to tell Christians that they have to bow to the New World Order of the satanic crap? Not according to their constitution, not according to thus saith the Lord. And this is the problem with the Democrats. They don't submit to Holy Writ. They think they're gods and goddesses. Michelle Obama is a worthless leader. She doesn't have experience. She has no business in the White House, the State House, the Church House, or schoolhouse. This is not my opinion. That's a fact. When she was first lady, the blacks said, she's the most beautiful first lady either. No, she wasn't. I thought Condoleezza Rice was a stunning looking black woman. She was far better looking than Michelle. I know black women here. I know one down at the club that always kisses me right on the cheek and I kiss her back. She is walking art. Michelle Obama is not cute. But it's like I said, birds of a feather flock together. And they've already said it over and over and over on national news. If they try to put Gavin in, the blacks will not vote for him because they want to vote for Michelle or Kamala. Once again, the blacks vote, remember paint by numbers? Black people vote by numbers or vote by colors. I've heard him say it here. We got to mark yes on all the black candidates. And they say that whites are racist. Isn't that laughable? Right here, I had a lady pull up in my driveway. Does so and so live here? I said, no, ma'am. I still get the mail. And I told them she doesn't live here. I bought this place. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just trying to get out the black vote. I should have called her on the carpet. And so, what about the white vote, ma'am? She was an older woman. I wasn't going to be disrespectful, but I should have said, what about the white vote? And my black female friend said, they're paying big money if I go around and encourage the black vote. I said, would they pay me? No, Mike, they're trying to get out the black vote. They want to hire black people. I said, isn't that discrimination? She laughed. She goes, you got a point, Michael. I know I got a point. Let white people go out and get out the white vote and watch the black community just scream racism from the ramparts of the United States. Folks, the Democrats are nothing but confusion causers, pot stirrers, strife bearers, divisive. They're idiots. And Joe Biden is a fail. For his wife to stand there in child-directed speech and said, you did so good. And like a little kid, he's standing there going, you answered every question. Jill, this is not the time for that. The whole wide world's watching and they're going, facepalm. Joe Biden is out of touch. She's a classic plastic fake, wants to be called Dr. Jill. I would never call her Dr. Jill. I wouldn't let her run a daycare center, let alone be in the medical field. Joe Biden is a ding dong. Does anybody remember the comments she made years ago referring to Mexicans as Taco Bell voters? Where was the deafening scream of racism by CNN, MSNBC, and all the other liberal news networks? It wasn't there. Democrats get a free pass. They're just like the mafia back in the day. They are today's modern mafia. They get a free pass to do. They can have underage child sex, get away with it. Epstein and Mademoiselle, whatever her name is, and Hunter has been accused of playing with a teenage girl. Nobody's even talking about that. Your name's Michael Jackson. Support the black and the Democrat community. You can sleep with 12-year-old boys and do fellatio and frauding together, and yeah, you can have all the fun you want. Let a underage woman, 17, 16, come on to a white male, and they get caught up in the heat of passion, both complicitly. But for whatever reason, she decides she wants to burn his ass. She reports it, registered sex offender in jail, loses his job. Isn't that fun? But if you're a Democrat, you can lie, you can cheat, you can steal if you want to, you can vote Democrat. But if you're a Democrat and you vote Democrat, then you ain't a friend of mine. You are an enemy of the Constitution. You are an enemy of God. You are an enemy of righteousness. You are an enemy of that which is sane and true. And the Democrats are hypocrites. They're all in it. They're, oh, this is looking bad. You knew this was going on. And remember John Pierre. Those were cheap fakes. All those videos, AI are cheap fakes. No, toilet brush, they were not. Those were real video by your liberal news network showing him stumble, mumble, and bumble in France everywhere he went. And what the hell is Barack Obama back there? Now they're calling him O Biden. What the hell is Obama doing in politics? He's a corrupt black man, that's why. Oprah Winfrey funded a lot of his campaign. That's what she does with her $1 billion and buys mansions for herself. Oprah Winfrey is a racist woman who made the lion's share of her money off white housewives for her silly little Harpo Productions Oprah Winfrey show. She's a narcissist. She's a gluttonous pig. She is materialistic as hell. A $90 million mansion. Tell me how Oprah's saving the environment. Does she have wind turbines on her properties? Does she have solar panels on those mansions? Is she driving electric vehicles? Hypocrites all. And no one wants to talk on this. They don't want to talk about these angles like I do. And she used her money to fund a corrupt, seedy, gotta show my face to the camera Obama. He lied about health care. He called it Affordable Care Act. It was not affordable. That's a lie. He should have been charged. He should have been arrested for lying to the American public, baiting and switching. And all the HMOs did was stand there and salivate. The Democrats favor big business, big corporate shark people that are after your profits. Thank you for calling Xfinity. How can I help you? I want to get internet. Oh, we can do that in 5 minutes. Thank you for calling Xfinity. Due to an unusual high call volume, it may be a while, probably 3 or 4 hours before we get back to you. When you have a problem, there's nobody there. When you want to hook up and pay cash for a service, they'll shuttle you to the red carpet VIP express lane. The Democrats are in cahoots with big business. Ask yourself a question. Why was Lowe's and Home Depot allowed to remain open when we had a pandemic and everything was supposed to be shut down? No one wants to answer that. No one. They were supposed to shut everything down hard for 2 weeks. We could have done that as a nation. Nope. Did not happen. Did not happen. The Democrats said hair salons and restaurants, you got to stop. Grocery store was wide open. People handling meats and foods and stocking shelves. COVID being passed every can and every package and every box of cereal. Isn't that funny? Lowe's and Home Depot. Home Depot was complaining about all the theft. Home Depot gouged the hell out of people when we had a shortage on things. 2x4s went up as high as $8 for an 8-foot 2x4 stud, and plywood went up as high as 70, $80 a sheet. And even when we had plywood still in the bins, they said there's a shortage. Wait a minute, the stuff you got on property here is from before. You paid $5 for a sheet of plywood. You were charging us $25, and now you've jacked it up. Those businesses are corrupt as hell. And Home Depot, I could care less about them. They said you get $25 off. This guy at the register said if you open up a Home Depot credit card, you get $25 off your purchase. I said, okay, let's do it. And the guy was commenting on my hair and my chain, and clearly he was gay. He says, I'll tell you what, if you open one up, I'll give you $50 off. I thought, so I'm not going to say no to that. So give me $50 off my purchase of lumber and materials. I went ahead and charged it to that credit card, got the bill, paid it off, and the credit card, I don't use it no more. And they keep sending me notices. We notice you're, not using your card. No, because I pay it on my own debit card. I've learned when they give you perks, take the perks, but don't do it for their advantage. Do it for yours. When you look at the cost of tools and crap, and I've worked on this house and I can tell you what crap is. You get a box of screws for $9 a box this big. And you go to put the star head in there and it won't fit because there's so much paint globbed in there from the factory. Or you get a screw and you start to screw it in and it goes wangle, wangle, wangle. Wow, that one isn't straight. Where's quality control on that? Oh, there isn't any. And I'm sorry, you're going to charge me $9, $10 for a box of screws. Every one of those screws ought to be damn perfect. Gosh, I remember back in the days, you go to Ace or True Value and they had the bins. You could put the scoop in there, put them on the scale, slide them into your bag. Now you get them measured out in a box, $10 for 100 screws. Wow. Profit, 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 pure, pure profit. Joe Biden is a foolish man. He's a godless man. His wife is self-evident as a hell-bound sinner. Obama, there should be investigations into why he's running the show behind everything. We have a puppet presidency run by Obama, and Obama is bad news. Pay attention to Obama, please. Pay attention just a year or 2 years ago when it was Martin Luther King something, and Biden was there at the White House, and He tried to get Obama's attention. Obama ignored him in front of a crowd of people. But now he's seen walking him off the stage. You have to understand Obama's a grandstander. He does what is opportunist. He does what makes him look good. Remember, they wanted him, the blacks wanted him to have a third and fourth term. And oh, see, that's how that works. When you get a black person, you want him to be your king. Got discrimination? Black community is so racist, it's not even funny in this country. And I work with them all day long, and their voice inflections when blacks walk in the room versus me, the way they praise bad people, but I don't get any recognition when I work harder than 99% of them. Yeah, it gets old. And then you look at Baltimore and Detroit where the blacks live, and it's blight, crime, murder, buildings falling in on themselves. Their own leadership can't change that. Their own leadership, oh, we got another black person in. Oh, good, more failure. Failure on top of failure. And they want to talk about the barber. And I said, yes, barber, you lost some business. I really don't care. Did you care about Americans and Target and people having their stores burned and looted profusely? It had absolutely nothing to do with Floyd and the police. And the black society doesn't give a shit when their people rioted up and things. They don't say a fucking word. These 13 percenters, most of which are Democrat, need to be shipped out. My opinion. They're nothing but a cancer in our midst. Their crime stats are off the wall, and they talk and talk and talk shit about our race. Critical race theory was started by a woman from the New York Times, what I was told. That has no business in a public school. It dogs white people. The state of our union is shitty. And when Putin is making friends with Kim Jong-un and praising a dictator, America better wake up, get sober, and get this clown and the Democrats out of office. Because if we don't, I'm going to say it again, people. Those of you that are Bible scholars, America is not in the Bible. Very good possibility we could be removed from the scene before the end time plays out. Don't think it can't happen. This is Pacific signing off. Okay, where is the